I mean, if I was Axis, I would be thinking whether or not to get rid of the carry, and it's a little tough because you will be giving something over, but I think at the end of the day, it's not the biggest of deals. Most likely ban out something situational. Preferably, I would have thought about the the Valir a little bit more than the Kufra, but that's okay.
Straight away, they take the Kufra out and about, and then they will insta-lock that Uranus. What do you think about that?
I think a lot of teams are putting a lot of their focus on Uranus because Uranus just does the job so well and just holding that lane, being very much undiveable, being very much unpushable, and single-handedly one-on-one combat. It's tough to kill him unless you make a mistake, and Axis Esports will reply with a potential, another potential brain dead offlaner with the Carmilla and the Grok.
I think RSG they need to pick up Sicilian here. The carry and Sicilian should be the picks to go with, but no, they want to lock in Jawhead. Carry was no surprise because hey, that was the only other sort of hyper carry was available. Maybe Axis they want to go with Ling in this rotation because that's the only sort of there's sort of a trifecta of hyper carries now, right? Claude, carry, and Ling. And you ban out the Claude, you take the carry. You kind of want to lock in the Ling here.
Yeah, for sure. And I think they might be able to do a little bit more than that. I think they have Axis is drafted, so they guarantee themselves a hyper carry of some sort, whether it's the Ling or whether it's the Granger. I don't think it matters too much to them. Having the Sicilian with the Carmilla is going to be quite a big game changer here. We don't get to see this combination too often, but when you do, might as well, right?
Well, interesting how things are gonna go about. The ban gonna be the Ling, so they do take it off. Only the Granger still available, like you mentioned.
Well, let's see how far they want to kind of go with this. Yep, the Ling has been banned out. Definitely understandable. So it looks like it's going to be a little bit more standard between both of the teams. Axis here looking to probably ban out a mage of some sort, but what options does Resurgence have? Farsa, I guess.
But the thing is that if you watch Resurgence games enough, you know that they haven't been running a mage for quite a bit. They do take away the Valir, so it's the support pick that they kind of want to deny away. Nana's still available on the side of RSG. They have picked it before, so they might pick it again. Axis, this should be the time they take another tank or fighter.
I think they have too many. I think they have plenty of options, and they can just hold off on it. They know Uranus is going into the off lane, so locking in the Granger here isn't going to make too much of a difference. But okay, they're hovering over the Esmeralda. I'm kind of on the fence on this one, but especially when you're up against the Uranus, it's such a great pick. But if it's going to get, if Resurgence wants to punish it, it's going to be tough.
You're gonna get,
oh, is it going to be Altas?
It's gonna be Altas.
Say it right.
Yeah. So KZP gonna get his signature hero, Farsa. Gonna be hovered over by Jason as well. That's the magic damage that they need, and they have a lot of crowd control coming in. Now, the real question is, what is Axis gonna lock in here as their hyper carry?
Granger's on the table. If they really want to go for something more split pushy, they can take the Hayabusa if they wanted to, but I don't think it fits in their comp at all at this point. It's a tough one. It's a tough one because I think as of right now, Resurgence has a really strong Farsa lineup, especially once they bring in the more crowd control capability type heroes, like especially the Atlas. Like Atlas makes this comp work so well, and when you combo it with the Farsa, the Feather Airstrike with Fatal Links is just free damage.
They take the Kimi, something that we didn't really take into account. I think he's gonna run with the Purify as well, make sure some extra sort of defensive abilities. It's gonna be quite interesting to see. Now, Gideon, both teams have locked in their lineups. What do you think?
Honestly, I'm liking the Resurgence lineups a lot more, but Axis, they're coming prepared with their battle spells. But we're gonna have to wait and see. Let's have a look at what these teams have to say to each other.
RSG, pastikan datang di playoff nanti. Bertemu dengan kami.
To Axis, don't worry about us. Worry about yourselves first. I think you actually have a very small chance to qualify to the playoffs. So, work hard, work hard. Good luck.
Work hard, work hard. Good luck.
Yo, dude, LY4, at the end of that, like, I felt such malice. Like, the way he kind of smiled at the end there, that's when you know it's like, yo, dude, yo, that's just me.
Jokes on Axis, man. Jokes on Axis, because, hey, this time, you know, LI4 is actually gonna be in playoffs because they've really qualified for it.
That's true. But you know, I can't wait to see how this is going to go out a little bit. In a little bit, it looks like we have been given some information. It's going to jump out to us before we load into the game.
Yep, I think there's a slight pause. Hopefully, we do get into the game. But I just want to talk a little bit more about the team composition. Giddy, I don't know if you remember. What do you think about Hypercarry Kim in this current meta?
Personally, I'm not into it. I'm not the biggest fan of Hypercarry Kimmy because her strongest points are when she hits the mid game, and the earlier stages of the game are going to be dependent on your supports. And at that point in time, you don't have a lot of mobility options, and the problem is that you cannot isolate the targets you want to kill. For example, if you need to take care of the marksman who is a little bit out of position, you can't just select their portrait and auto attack them. You have to hit whatever's in front of you, and because you don't have that option to kind of isolate the targets you want, really kind of downplays her power.
Yeah, I think the Atlas pick was really smart as well, because if he used that perfect match, just go straight into Kimmy, use that fail link. It's super hard because you cannot lock onto a target. Like you said, just be in his face, tank those auto attacks. That's how you win the game.
And better yet, like, even if you do miss with the fatal links with the Atlas at that point in time, he still has devastation, and the devastation slow can set up for potential feathered airstrikes later on. So expect to see a lot of setups and a lot of dependency on the supports in this game for the side of RSG to set up for their backline.
Yep, I just want to know how the early game is going to go about. We know that Farsight is a really good late game hero. We know that Carry is a really good late game hero. So you know straight away RSG has won the late game draft. Can they accelerate the early to mid game enough to reach that late game quicker? Because it's going to be on Axis Esports Club to actually push everything through.
That I do agree with you, and I think that's totally fair. However, when you have some offlaners playing like the Uranus, you're not necessarily expecting them. If they play the map right, then you know that they're going to split the map in half and focus a lot of their attention on the side that Uranus is not on, because Uranus is acting like a sponge. It just wants to absorb that pressure as much as he can, and if he wants to go above and beyond, maybe proxy the waves to call even more attention to himself. As for the four members, dives are important.
That's why they picked the Esmeralda, right? The Esmeralda perfectly counters the Uranus. Sing needs to be careful. However, it's been shown time and time again that Sing is really proficient on this Uranus as well.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to just wait and see how this plays out a lot more, because I'm honestly scared. There's a lot of factors that could go wrong for the side of Axis Esports.
Yep, early damage coming onto KCP, but he's not gonna mind that. He's just gonna pop that regen and walk away from that, no problems whatsoever. RSG might be looking for an invade. Nah, they're just gonna basically cut the map in half.
Yeah, and this is what we wanted them to do from the beginning. They want to make sure that they're isolated up in that top side of the map, making sure that Esmeralda is just left alone with the Uranus without any kind of punishment. And maybe they could look to make a play down bot side and really hurt the Jawhead, who is susceptible to the ganks.
Yeah, and this all goes back into the Sicilian Camilla combo, right? They need to make sure that they are wary about it, because every time you think that you got a Camilla, hey, Sicilian can just grab him back and pull him to safety.
Yep, and the extra spell vamp is always going to be useful. But yep, up on the top side, earlier stages of the game, it looks like Resurgence kind of wants to, slow down the pressure from the Esmeralda, making sure that they are taking full advantage of the 2v1 situation. EvilX coming in, tries to steal away the River Crab, doesn't get close. So nicely done here from Resurgence. Jason slowly getting on ahead.
So both teams, I think they sort of like called peace. They said, you know what, let's just not invade. Let's try and just hit our level 4. It's in the best interest of both teams to hit their power spike so far. Oh, there goes the Sanguine Claws, the stun. Might go on to KCP. Fatal Links does get, perfect match gets popped, and he's just gonna get away from it.
Yep. Well, it's gonna be a slow game for now. It doesn't seem that anyone's making the big plays just yet, but Resurgence is dependent on their level 4, so the same goes for Axis as well if they want to get ahead. So I think at this point of time, 2 minutes in, nothing much has happened in the early game. A little bit of pressure, but level 4 is going to be where the blood starts to spill.
Alright, you can see the ultimates are starting to get unlocked here. Kaiser X and Bren both have their ultimates available already, so Sing needs to be careful. The Falling Star Moon might be able to lock up that Uranus long enough to actually kill him off.
Yep, and wait, Kid Meepo with a wild charge. Oof. Little too close for comfort there as you see Jawhead forcing the flicker on out of here. The control for this bottom side of the map is insane. Like both Axis and Resurgence have identified this is the battleground. If we go to the top side, it's going to be a waste of our time, so we need to control this river.
Oh, Long does get stunned here. Does actually pop the ultimate as well. Wants to try and snipe away the Wanderer. No cigar there, but here comes Kaiser X. Falling Star Moon. Gonna get charged up, but gonna get cancelled by Kaiser X. They do not want to force his engage, but KZP going to the back line. Feather Airstrike doing a lot of damage. A stun to stop KZP on his tracks. Once again, you know, poking, a little bit of poke here and there, but no real engage just yet.
Honestly, I think what people don't see is that Jason is actually gaining priority over the lane for the side of Resurgence. Like, yes, a lot of the Resurgence members could have walked up, but it just wouldn't be worth it. They would lose too much life, and now Evil X has been caught out. Oh, luckily, he hops inside of Loam. They walk away. That was too close for comfort there.
I mean, that's the whole point why you pick this Cecilion and Carmilla combo, right? Evil X, he can go a little bit more aggressive, try and face check those rushes. Whenever they are in a little bit of trouble, hey, Cecilia just pulls him back into safety, becomes invulnerable.
Yep, and they're gonna keep on pushing through, you know? Like, if they can force out some big ultimates onto Evil X before, and allow Evil X to kind of take it before going into Lung, I think they can honestly get a lot of free fights from Resurgence. However, Resurgence are aware of this, so it's kind of that mind game. When are you gonna jump in? Are you going to hold back? Are you going to use your ultimate now? It's a game of resources.
Yep, and so far both teams making sure they're using their resources very efficiently, but Evil X this time no more passing to pull him back. Will he pop the Fatal Links? Yes, it's the answer. Sanguine Claw is that KCP needs to be careful. Loom does finally pop him back. Evil X tries to go for the re-engage, but they're just gonna back off. Sing in the front lines. They are not gonna go engage, they're gonna back off for now. Evil X so far playing a pretty good game in this Camilla.
Yep, they're holding on. They're holding on to their ground really, really well, and not to mention the amount of work Kid Meepo is actually doing in the backlines, gaining priority and controlling that bottom lane, not allowing Jawhead to roam around the map too much. You know.
KZP just gonna recall, but you can see even though the score is 0-0, the farm efficiency is on the side of Resurgence. Yeah, they have the goal lead, not a big one, around a 1.5k goal lead, but it's still something because they are picking up the waves so efficiently.
Yep, and they have to just control this for as long as possible, because I think Resurgent also is very aware that they can outscale. They can start trying to outscale Axis Esports in the later stages of the game. But I don't know. I feel like it's a bit of a coin flip here, because Kaiser X, he hasn't really been punished too hard here. He's still been farming efficiently. I don't think Uranus really stands a chance to him from this point onwards once she gets her first item. And even Rin, like, even with Mystery Shop, you can accelerate the amount of items you get, but again, nothing is happening in this game.
Turtle resurrecting
so
soon.
far, really even Stevens. And one thing I kind of forgot to take into account is this Sicilian, but Kaiser X, can he run away? Falling Star was back into the passive, into his tower range. Feather Airstrike, not gonna land. Sing wants to try for this kill. He does have the Frost Moon shield, so he will be able to go to safety. Evil X, just for some bodyguard services, gonna walk away there, no problems whatsoever.
Yeah, he's got to stand out there just in case, because Jason Cole did bring out the Flame Shot. But they're going to lose mid lane here. But the plays, KZP, does he actually get the Fatal Links? No, he does not. They actually pull through. They have to use all their Purifies to ensure that they don't get yacked backwards. Axis Esports are going to walk away without losing a single member for now.
But Gideon, look at that, they're still pushing onto this bot lane. Really good rotations coming out from Axis. This is going to be a full 5-on-5 fight. KCP trying to go to the backline, keep Meepo buying as much time as possible. Going to pop the sprint together with Power of Nature. Good sort of zone control coming out from Axis Esports. The Blood Path making sure nobody can come in line, and they are just going to disengage. Once again, score still 0-0. Axis Esports and RSG still even Stevens.
I mean, they're holding their ground very, very well here. The question is whether or not Resurgence can take that little lead and really force it down. And yes, they do. Power members under the turret. 2v4. Initial ejector landing, and Sync wants to clean up Kid Meepo here. He can tank this all day long.
But no minions are available, and look at that good trade off coming up from Axis Esports. 3 members straight away into the top side. Kid Meepo will go down with the execute. That was good because you buy a lot of time. Ball lane will fall. 1-for-1 trade in terms of turrets, but 2 members on Axis Esports going down. These are the small little victories that RSG needs because they can start to snowball out.
However, you have to kind of give credit to Axis Esports as well. Like, they're doing a really good job at, like, you know, oh, this is the situation we need. We're being capitalized on. We need a little bit of gold to buffer. So they quickly, very fastly respond to the opposite side of the map to take the structure away. So really, they're just pushing at the cracks of the tower, which is known as Jenga, also known as Resurgence at this point, for any loose bricks.
Yeah, and you know what? Fair play to Axis Esports. They're playing very methodical. They know they can't go for fights. They go for trades instead. But now, this blue buff is something I think they cannot afford to lose out. Already down to 50% health. EVOS gonna go in. Who takes it? I think LY4. Meanwhile, Fatalities will land on 2. Uranus is first to fall. Rin will try to back off here. EVOS really low, but KaiserX, look at that. Go to the back line. They want to go on to Jason. Purify just get a little bit of extra movement speed. So far, however, Axis Esports winning this team fight wholeheartedly. KaiserX still trying to go for the push. Better airstrike will try to do a lot of damage. Will force KaiserX out. However, they get the blue buff and they get 2 kills in the process. Good play coming up from Axis Esports.
Yep, and this is what I was talking about. Axis is slowly feeling up away this Jenga tower, looking for all the just the weaker, looser blocks, and when they find it, they capitalize on it very, very well. So Turtle is going to be the next profit margin being earned by Axis Esports, and now the game kind of has shifted in dynamic. A lot of it they have to worry about is Jason Call, and that's where KaiserX comes in tough. That's Falling Star Moon. It does clip Jason a little bit, but with the help of Sicilian, they disengage.
It's all about LY4, honestly speaking. They need their hyper carry to just pop off. You can see he's 1-1-0. He's level 14 already. He has that flicker as well, just to be extra careful. So far, things are okay for Resurgence, but Axis Esports not going down without a fight.
Yep, they're just gonna hold on to that ground until LY4 comes online, and we know what it's like when LY4 of all people comes online. He does not stop. So Axis are put in this tough position, you know. They have to make a decision. Okay, I have to be proactive, but I can't afford to lose fights, yet somehow stop LY4 from scaling. That in itself is a very difficult position to come back from.
We can see KaiserX, he has reached that place where he's super confident that he can 1v1 this Uranus. He just tries to charge the Falling Star Moon, and Sing just has to back off. Sing really low. Rin tries to go for the assassination. However, they don't get anything. Sing still staying alive for relatively long. Should be able to at least defend a little bit. Here comes the rest of RSG. However, KaiserX needs to be careful. Does have the Frostmoon Shield. Will be able to at least get away from himself. They trade the turrets once again. Axis Esports doing what they need.
Yeah, this is smart. KaiserX using his ultimate as well to kind of clear out the waves as fast as possible. He's going to chase Sana for half a second before rotating down to the bot lane and catching that wave too. So they're being very proficient with their movements. They're not taking the buffs just yet. They know that maybe Resurgence wants to contest for it, so it is a bit of a hot zone.
So they protected the blue pretty well, and now Rin has one mystery shop as well. I think he has at least 3 or 4 items. Ooh, that is extremely painful.
Soon.
I'm telling you, they're gonna need flex tape because that is some damage.
Yep, the explosive charge needs to be looked at least, so they don't get out of hand. Meanwhile, both side lanes of Resurgence Axis Esports doing the defense duties. They need Esmeralda to jump onto Sync here.
Yep, and that's kind of the issue. I'm not just Sync, but I think also to kind of like stop Jason Cole from actually using that Feather Airstrike. So I think that would take major priority over everything else, considering the amount of damage he's pumping out. Like, it's ridiculous. So hopefully Axis finds an angle here.
Sanguine Claws just trying to bait things out. Lord has finally spawned. Relatively low kill score game. This is all about the macro decision. Sing trying to proxy the wave. KZP does find Lung. Lung needs to be careful. Where's the Fatal Links? He does have Purify. Will Purify it out, and he does get into safety for now.
Yeah, again, KZP just hasn't been able to find any of these big catches because of that Purify. They've been using it very cost efficiently as well. So now, I don't think Axis Esports wants to make too bold of a move here, unless, you know, Lord is being at risk. Then I guess they don't have a choice.
Yeah, but Lord is just going down so quickly before they can even come into the vicinity. Lord has already gone down. RSG pulling a fast one off Axis Esports here.
Yeah, looks like Axis was a little bit slow, but at least Resurgence, they played their defense slow. They slowly let their tanks and supports kind of trickle down in towards the Lord pit. And Axis Esports are very aware of the tanks and supports, so they are keeping their distance the entirety of the way.
And if you look at the itemization, LY4 already has 5 items. On the other hand, Kimmy
is still, he still has that mass, and he needs to catch up a little bit. You can see he's a little bit far behind in terms of the goal itemizations.
Yep, but how long is this stalemate going to be? Resurgence are hitting critical mass here. The rest of their team is coming towards full build. LY4 is very, very close to his full build, and the same can be said for Jason as well. So, Axis, they're running out of time.
They want to go for this Esmeralda, and with that carry, Shoop making quick work here. Immediately falling Starwood on to Jason. They want to kill off Jason. Jason, one sliver of health. He managed to stay alive. Sanguine Claws does pull up LY4, but with the help of the rest of his team, he's just going to back off.
Very big catch there. Remember, they used all their ultimates here, so Axis Esports could actually look to force a 4v5 if they have to, knowing that they don't have their big ticket ultimates.
Yeah, but the one good thing is that, hey, they managed to clear out Lord. They didn't lose any inhibitors, but you can see the goal lead is slowly but surely extending. Sing forced to pop that ultimate just to get away for now, and this is just going to reset entirely again.
Yep. 7 more K until they catch up here. Again, Jason called with the Oppression Feathered Airstrike, making sure that they can't really walk and take the waves without taking some form of punishment. But the gold lead isn't going to matter. That Lord push was what Resurgence needed to at least break an inhibitor. And since they didn't get it, now Axis has a chance to actually scale for themselves. Like their hyper carries will start getting some big ticket items. Kaiser X, he was 1v4, yet he brought Jason to 50% of his HP with his current items. That can easily change in the next 2 minutes.
Yep, and now they're just waiting. KZP here, he has the Immortality together with the Athena Shield, so it's going to be one heartbreak to follow. Meanwhile, Sing needs to be careful. Does have the does have the ultimate, so he will be safe for now. Kaiserx trying to be in the thick of things. Oh, he does push off the Grok. Kid Meeple might be first to fall. Does have the Immortality. Wild Charge is still active, however. He falls out. RSG, however, really low as well. They need to back out for now, and they do the disciplined move, and they walk back.
They're going to be walking back for quite a bit here. Resurgence keeping their foot right next to the door. The moment Axis opens the door, even slightly, you just know Resurgence will come crawling through. Another 70 more seconds until Lord comes back up, and that's what Resurgence honestly is waiting for, their win condition.
And they're just playing these slow, methodical games. LY4 Wind Talker already picked up. Sing, he's really, really hard to kill. Super tanky. Athena shields on both of their tanks. If you look at the itemization, LY4 already 13k gold net worth, where Kimmy, she's only 10k. Now, because of Mystery Shop, she has max items already, but she needs to make something happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough all around. Like the members that she has to cut through, both Atlas as well as the Uranus, are very, very tanky, and they have itemized against magic. Magic damage. So, again, Kimmy is just becoming less and less useful as this game goes by. She needs to get on those primary targets. She needs to get damage on Jason and LY4, and arguably Sana as well.
And RSG is going to reach a point of time where the tanks are just unkillable, right? Because Rin on Kimmy is not really a well-known tank killer, he's building mage items as well, so it's going to be quite hard to melt things through. And if you look, both tanks has those Athena shields, so it's going to be really, really hard to melt them through.
Soon.
What in the world? Wait, how did K? Huh? I guess we didn't see.
It's just a visual
leave
bug.
the mech. Yeah, it's just a visual bug. I just thought he teleported. I was like, what just happened? No worries, no worries.
It's just
but
a
yeah,
visual bug. No.
And now they picked up the Litho Wanderer as well. Just to bring look at KZP. He is just a one-man army. He's literally taking a lot more damage than he should. And the same can be said about Sync. Like Uranus doesn't feel a thing.
Kaiserx, you need to look at Kaiserx. Esmeralda going for the big flag. He has the potential to just change this game entirely if he can get the carry. But no, he's going for the wrong target instead. Oh, the flame shot comes through, and Axis Esports, they need to turn around. They need to retreat. The fatal links. It lands onto everyone. Wild Charge will try to disengage a little bit. Kaiserx trying to run things out. Nobody dies. It was a fancy play, but nobody dies, and everybody manages to walk out. RSG will pick up the Lord, and they're just going to reset once again.
Oh man, Evil X, he just refused to go down, and in the entire time of the Fatal Links, he was getting his spell vamp off as well, so he was just regenerating mid-air while he was stunned the entire time. I honestly expected more people to die there.
Yeah, and you can see the Fatal Links, you know, he knows how to play Altus, okay?
I mean, totally. I mean, he is the man who made the game, who made the character itself. Like, you can't argue with him at this point. And in KCP, he did find a very big play, especially when Axis wasn't ready for it. Like, look, a lot of them still are trying to recover their purifiers, and this next fight is going to determine that.
KCP going to the back line. They're trying to look for a big play, but so far, Kaiser X going to the back line. He finds Jason. That's a big pickoff. But what about LY4? So far, a 1-for-1 exchange, but the hyper carries is just not up to match. LY4 down to 50% health. Rin is still trying to do damages, but like we mentioned, this late game is just super hard for Rin to shred through the damage. However, if they're gonna tank out the turret, it's gonna be a much easier. Rin still staying alive. 1-for-3 exchange. There's 2 members of RSG ESports still left. Looks like RSG is gonna go for the methodical route. They are going to take down all the inhibitors before they try and end the game. They do not want to mess up this game.
Yeah, well, you know, at the end of the day, I think it's gonna be a win for the side of Resurgence. There, it really came down to just one opportunity. Kaiser X with that flag could have changed everything had he just looked at the Lord Pit.
Yep, and that is it. Game 1. And Cecilion is a hero that's been, you know, really annoyed by the fact that the bad impact can always stack the late game. So you always have that failsafe and carry as well. So really clear what they want to do here. They just said, don't pick any late game. They said LY4's the problem.
Definitely understand. And now Resurgence here, honestly, they already should be thinking about getting rid of the Claude here, because Claude is just way too good in too many situations, and unless they have something in their back pocket prepared to deal with the Claude, then I don't see a better ban.
Yeah, I think no, they're gonna take away the Talmud, so they do not want the fighters. They want to make sure that they have an open book. Is it gonna be Claude? I think it should be.
It should be. That means Resurgence will be taking control over Uranus, and okay, that's still fine. I just think that personally, I just don't like Uranus, man. It's just nasty, dude. It's whoever you send in the off lane against them, you know that they're not really going to win that lane.
No, they take the Claude instead. They know that the hypercarry meta is just way too important, but this means Natalia is available. They might actually go for it. We saw Zaraki play a really good Natalia. They're gonna lock in that Uranus. Sing played really strong game in that game 1.
Oh, they're hovering over the Aldous here. I mean, honestly, I would like to see another Aldous in general. But you know, let's see what Resurgence has in mind. They still have a couple of picks to go here. The last one is going to be the Natalia.
Your team is picking.
They just want to assassinate the Claude, exactly just like what happened in game 2 between Bosskurr and NV.
I still think it's a little tough though. Like, even Natalia against Claude, that battle mirror image is important. So again, this early game has just become way more important for Resurgence than Axis Esports. But you know, Axis hovering over the Leo Mord here. I think it's a little early to show the Leo Mord if they really wanted to pick it. But I don't think that. Yeah, that's it. The Jawhead would be a much better pick.
Your team
Jawhead together with the Grok. The question is, do they pick up the Ling in this rotation, or they just say, you know what, it's okay, we can play other hyper carries? Looks like they want a Carmilla instead.
I guess if they do lock in the Carmilla, I guess that's a tell for Resurgence to bait out something from Axis Esports, because I mean, they will have first pick on the second rotation as well. So whatever they want is pretty much secured, and this pick here determines that. Yeah, looks like they are gonna lock in the Carmilla instead.
Carmilla.
Interesting priorities coming up from both teams. Looks like RSG, they say, you know what, doesn't really matter what LY4 plays, as long as the core, you know, around LY4 is strong enough, it's gonna be fine. Alright, so if you were Axis here, what would you be looking out for? I ban away the hyper carry 100%. Like either the Bruno, maybe even the Granger, like what I don't want to see. And I think perhaps if I'm Axis, I'm banning away the Bruno instead, because Bruno is a really strong tanker. They take away the Roger.
Your team is
so
banning.
I get it sort of fits that category of hyper carries. They just don't want to see that Roger going up against this lineup. That's true though, but I do feel like Axis, when they decided to ban out the Roger, that they have the same kind of idea of how the draft should go
they're assuming that Resurgence has the exact same idea that of drafting like Axis Esports here, which might be a mistake because now Resurgence, they can go for the traditional marksmen that LY4 are comfortable on, and they ban out the Atlas as well. Okay.
So they say, you know what? Atlas is not going to be the pick of choice. They want a Kufra instead. They want a little bit more peel because if you look at the lineup, they know that Natalia is going to go to the backline straight away, right? So they need someone to peel for their hyper carry for LY4, and Kufra is going to be their choice. And they just don't want to see Atlas because they know that their hyper carry in this drop is going to be super exposed. Because a Natalia means you have one less body to actually protect your hyper carry.
Oh, looks like Axis is trying to adapt a different strategy here coming in with the draft. Fast rotations, a lot of resources are going to be dedicated to this hyper carry being the only source of damage, for the team.
Your team is picking.
Ooh, boy. Looks like they are going to lock in both that Hylos and Rafaela. A lot of utility, right, in this Axis Esports. It's very, very clear. They want to pump everything onto Rin on that clock.
Well, Brin's got a tough game ahead of him because he's got to deal with two major assassins on his tail 24/7, and hopefully his team can make it an easier job with Evil X for the disengage, as well as Lung going to be playing that. Going to be playing the Raphaelia. He needs to land that Holy Baptism because if he whiffs that, it's going to spell doom for Axis Esports.
Yep, it's going to be all on Lung. But looking at both drafts, Gideon, what do you think?
Personally, I'm kind of leaning more towards... I'm leaning more towards Axis just slightly because the inconsistency, the potential inconsistency of mechanics from these assassins that are demanding, by the way, it kind of reduces the power level just a little bit because it feels like Resurgence is more likely to slip up than Axis in this point of time. However, if Resurgence finds those early kills, mid-game and late-game is not going to look fun for Axis Esports.
Yep, and this is the momentum. Can they carry it through? Game 2 between Axis Esports and Team Resurgence. Ooh, Sing needs to be careful there. He will be able to walk away, but at least that's a warning shot, right? Don't enter our jungle. No wave cutting this time around.
Yeah, the life lead is also important to kind of force out Sing to use his resources. If they can force Sing to actually recall early, that's already considered a huge win.
Ooh, Lung there. Try to get forced out by the Natalia on the side of Jason, but hey, when you have these two supports, it's pretty hard. But oh, I think they're actually going for an invade here, Gideon.
It looks like they're sniffing them out. They're already rotating towards them, and RSG wants to make something happen. The ejector,
but Sing,
where's
he
the
actually
ejector
got the Lips of
Sing?
Wanderer. Could be first blood going over. It is first blood. Interestingly enough, and oh, they pop down the Revitalized, and they get it. Kaiser X goes for the Flicker, but doesn't have the Ejector, interesting enough. LY4 just gonna get the hell out of there and continue his blue buff.
Yeah, it looks like Sink just kind of just walked into there, and he didn't have too many options. The most important one being his ultimate there. So again, constant slow, constant pressure, Lung ensuring that the team has the movement speed while slowing your opponents just enough to make the job easy peasy.
Yep, good start. Exactly what Axis Esports needs. Meanwhile, Meatbomb, sorry. Gonna pop that sprint, walks away. Good pressure coming out from Natalia. Jason doing exactly what he needs to do in the early game.
Yep, and LY4 playing the lane this time, farming very efficiently with the help of KZP, making sure that they clear out this jungle extremely fast. They might look to potentially take a fight here, but I think a lot of their big ultimates are still missing. Sana needs his ult, KZP especially needs his ult to set up these fights.
Yeah, and I think Ling already hitting level 5. He does have the ultimate available for him. He can actually look for it. You see, Claude doesn't want to fight at all at this stage. He needs those items. He doesn't have the ability. You can see he's just rotating from jungle camp to jungle camp to jungle camp because he knows if he takes a fight now, he's going to lose. The Blazing Duet is not going to do enough damage to take things down. On the other hand, RSG knows that Ling can actually find a good pickoff because the Defiant Sword does so much damage.
Yeah, and it's such an annoying spell. Oh, okay, wait. It looks like they want to get on top of them here. LY4 pulls backwards, and it looks like KZP takes the brunt of the damage, but LY4 coming into the play, coming in very, very hot. Steel Tempest is going very nicely through, but KZP in the backline. No! Kid Meepo was able to rotate faster, evening the odds, and it looks like RSG has lost 2 members in that scuffle alone.
That's what you call a smooth criminal. Walk in, walk out, just one ability, picks up the double kill. Jason Call is in the vicinity. You need to be careful. Long playing a really good game so far on this Rafaela. I think this is going to be a free turtle going over to Access Esports. Oh yeah, no! I do think that is nasty. And now the rest of RSG is just Sync is gonna stay alive as well. Flame Shot will come through the Curse of Blood, bonding a lot of these heroes. And Jason's gonna pick up Access Esports. He's gonna pick out 1 kill. Blazing Duet gets forced out, but no kills are going over LY4. He's cleaning things up. RSG, they're doing the impossible. I do not believe it. LY4 coming things up as well. Jason God using the Claw Dash tries to keep the distance at bay. Access Esports loses Tree and loses the turtle as well.
What just happened here? Like, I thought it was looking so good for Axis, and the Resurgence with a very immediate response sends their tanks and supports that actually look to pick up kills, which was successful. They ended up getting the turtle and 2 kills in trade for Sync. How worth it was that?
Yeah, and Sync even took the turtle. This is exactly what they need the Uranus to do. They know he's not gonna be, you know, the damage dealer. He's just a meat shield, right? Get the objective, tank all the damage, tank all the abilities, and then get the hell out of it.
Yeah, and it's just, oh man, it's just so unfortunate how Axis got punished there. But at least for Resurgence, it evens out the score and arguably puts them slightly, ever so slightly ahead.
This is a good rotation coming out from Access Esports. Good proactive play coming out. They'll take the first turret of the game. 200 goal lead. That's basically nothing.
Yep. Nothing much that they can do for now. They're going to keep on pushing through as hard as they can. I think for RSG at this point, they're looking for an objective that they can force Access Esports, and they go for the dive onto bot lane. Looking pretty good. The trading of aggro coming in from Resurgence. Nice and clean.
Bottom lane, they're going to take things out. Looks like all's going to be well. 1-for-1 trade. They even get Kaiser X. You know, he did what he could, but against 3 members, you're kind of just left to die at that moment.
Yeah.
Oh, KCP, good job here. They look like they want to go for this. Sana, Curse of Blood, lands on the both the carries. Where's the stun? Only Bats are not going to land. And they do disengage. And these are the abilities that Access Esports has, right? They have that glorious pathway. They have that holy healing, holy baptism. A lot of disengage ability. So RSG, they need to work for their kills.
Yeah, and you know, the best part about this is that RSG is kind of holding Access Esports at bay because of the ultimates. Like, oh, I make you waste your ultimates, and now I can look to jump on top of bigger objectives like the turtle without having to worry about your game-changing, disengaging ultimates. Oh no, KCP went
trouble for the Tyrant Revenge. He needs to be careful. Tyrant Revenge, good flicker, lands to the backline. Where's the rest of the team? Here comes the Blazing Duet, not gonna be enough. Launcher lands to the 4 members, and now RSG is the one getting to turn around. Flame Shot gonna slow things out. Sync, hamming the lane a little bit late into this team fight. Sana tries to find a distance. The power of nature gonna just flip things through, and 3-for-1 exchange. Kid Meepo making the big plays.
Yeah, that wild charge really saved them the fight there. It wasn't looking too good for Axis, especially since Rin was taking a lot of damage from the backline of Resurgence, who got right on top of him. He died so quick, even though he came in with a Blazing Duet. That shield was not enough to save his life.
Yep, and all props to KCP, right? Everyone thought, oh, that's a mistake. He went for the Tyrant's Revenge into the face of the enemies, fell short, but immediately pops the ultimate, flickers, hits 3 members. Rin didn't know what hit him.
Yeah, he really did it, but you know, a couple more fights like that for the side of Access Esports and they're going to be ahead, because this game, it's anybody's game right now. It's a really big back and forth. Evil X, ooh boy, he's getting a little bit of damage there. Looks like Turtle is going to be the next priority for Resurgence, but this time Access has all their ultimates.
Look at the key abilities, Gideon. Everybody has the ultimates. No Revitalize on the side of Evil X. That's a big one. No Flicker on KZP. That's another big one. Let's see what both these teams want to do. Looks like RSG, they are going to prioritize this bottom side. Natalia just lingering around the jungle, looking for any stragglers around.
And now Turtle is going to be in prime position for the taking for Resurgence, but Axis is making the response. Resurgence, they can sniff this out. They know what's going on. They're going to slow this down before maybe engaging onto a fight here. No, yes,
nope,
no.
They manage to walk away from this Sing. He doesn't take the red buff, they just walk away. But Kaiser X, good flick on to LY4, but where's the rest of his team? Pops the ultimate, he tries to get for the reset. He does have to revitalize them, but can he stay alive? Blazing Duet doing quite a lot of damage. Rin, he needs to be careful, however. He's going for the link. Can he get the kill? He's auto-attacking. He doesn't have enough mana. He goes back, he gets the link. That's the big one. KCP needs to be careful. He's the next casualty of the fight. 2 kills on the hands of Rin, and looks like he's not done yet. He wants to look for more, but he's gonna back off for now.
A trade 2 for 2 so far. Resurgence still ahead slightly. KZP and LY4 just bit a little too much than they can chew there. Though it was a very good play to initially get the execute onto Kaiser X, they just had no escape plan after that.
Yep, and Rin finally coming online. I mentioned this, right? They needed 2 levels or 2 items, and he finally has it. The Blazing Duet starting to hurt there.
And it's hurting a lot. Let's see if Axis Esports can actually pull this off. Kaiser X just got a big item power spike with that BOD.
Yeah, Natalia. Let's look at Jason 5-1-1, looking for stragglers, doing exactly what he needs to do. He needs to catch out this plot. That's his only target. If he does that, this could be it. Oh, Rin! He's be careful. The silence is there. Purify immediately, and Blazing Duet gets popped. No one will go down. Once again, keep people into the backline. Wild Charge will come through. LY4 forced to pop that Tempest of Blades. Everyone needs to back off. Jason being the threat that RSG needs.
Yeah, and he's doing a really good job here. He's 5-1. He's really got the ball rolling, and I really hope we do see the item list real soon so we can kind of gauge how strong he is.
Yeah, you can see he's just lingering around. He knows where everyone is. He said, hey, if anyone walks in, I can immediately just kill them off.
Lord resurrecting.
Oh boy, now that Jason has kind of been unlocked here, like supports have to really stick close together to their mains, like to the tanks, and especially not too close to Rin, because if they both get caught in the silence, that's not going to be good news for anybody.
Jason, that's not what you want, man. Maybe Jason likes horses. He saw a centaur. It's like, oh, maybe I would go for this. It's like, oh wait, it's not clock.
He'll take anything. Like his patience, like his fingers are getting itchy, dude. Like if I was that big, a 5-1 Natalia, I'd be looking for kills all day. So the fact that he's not getting those free kills, it's definitely making him a little antsy.
Oh, Kid Meeple needs to be careful. He's in the thick of things. He does have the Wild Charge. Glory probably will come through. The cavalry has arrived. Sync is there, but Jason once again doing what he needs to do. Flame Shot. He gets the assassinate onto the Natalia. But now here comes the rest of the team. LY4 still really healthy. Meanwhile, on the side of Rin, he needs to back off. The hyper carry battle is being won by RSG. It's a 2-for-1 exchange, but at least Rin stays alive.
Yep, and you know, even though Rin stays alive, they will be losing Lord here in Resurgence. They can't wait until 12 minutes to get the Lord back and struggle to find another opportunity to take that fight. So take the Lord now, bank it in, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to break it all the way to the inhibitor turret.
Extremely clean game coming up from RSG once again. They always try to get objectives after those kills. They win a team fight, even though it's a really small one. They still manage to converge and build a big lead from it.
And you know, that shows a lot of skill coming in from a team like Resurgence here. They've got a lot of veteran experience. Oh, Kid Meeple again going to be the target. He's not going to be able to clear that top side. He takes quite a bit of damage, but not enough to put him at risk.
Well, you know, he's pretty tanky. He is playing quite a good game. 3-0-4, has the sprint as well. Now Lord gonna be banked down to the ball side. Sing needs to be careful. Pops the ultimate, will be to walk away. Jason is in the vicinity. KZP charging up that Tyrant's Revenge, but looks like they're just gonna let that bottom turret fall and try and defend the inhibitor instead. Oh, KZP lands onto 2 members, immediately pops the Purify. Now that's a big item. That's a big spell being cooldown.
Yeah, and now he won't have a lot of options to get out of the CC here, so he's got to be super, super careful if he gets the initial slow, or if KZP gets on top of him. There's no saying that he's going to survive. Like, there's no guarantee.
No, KZP once again looking for some angles. Kid Meeple getting stunned up. Do they want to go on this grog? Maybe not this time.
I mean, they're holding their ground pretty well. The Lord and Power minions have, for the most part, been cleared out. They've taken what they needed to take. And now, Resurgence is just building their lead purely based on structures.
And also, they're just looking for any stragglers that oversteps, that overextends their welcome. Here comes Kufra. Once again, only EVOS gets tagged. I think Axis Esports is gonna give out all the outer turrets.
Yeah, but I guess they have to give it up, but it's a little unfortunate to see. Axis Esports is so close. They're at 34k against Resurgence, who's at 38k. 12 minutes in, they've made sure that that margin doesn't change. It doesn't go past into 10k territory. So they've got a very good chance to come back into this game.
Man, something needs to happen, man. It's been a while. This 2 games has been really back and forth.
You know, honestly, the playmaking capabilities from Resurgence, it's like, we know them to make the plays. Like, KZP will try and set this up. But Axis, this defensive kind of style of play is a little unnerving. It's very out of character. But honestly, it's kind of working.
Yeah, they're just trying to farm things out. Remember, it's all about this hyper carry meta. You can see the goalie is 5k goal ahead, but it all depends on Claude versus Link.
Yeah, it really does. But in most situations, Ling usually wins out on the fight, and Rin, he just has to outplay it somehow. But it's a little tough. Like, KZP is making his life difficult. Like, the only 2 people jumping into that back line, sometimes it's Sync, but for the most part, he's pretty much there for Peel, is KZP and LY4. That bouncing ball on top of Rin really makes it difficult for him to use any kind of mobility items, and especially being unable to use that battle mirror image or take it back. Game changer.
Once again, KZP just being the bodyguard that his team needs. I think RSG at this moment of time, they're just waiting for the Lord. They don't want to make any silly mistakes. They're just going to turn out, keep the lanes pushed, make sure that Axis Esports is staying inside their base.
And Axis Esports is very happy to stay inside their base. They can easily just farm right outside their tower, as long as they don't have to push any further than that.
Yeah, but they need to come out. They cannot lose this second Lord for free. The Luminous Lord will ensure at least one inhibitor will go down, and they do not want that to happen.
Yeah, the potion, I mean, everybody, the cores have hit their full bills. The potions are starting to come out here. 14 minutes into this game, 10 and 10. Like, I haven't seen such an even game in so long. Axis 1k away from that final, last bit of gold they need to get their final items. Resurgence at 46k, but at this point, it's situational items. It doesn't matter as much.
So LY4 just gonna do a routine buff jungle sort of sweep before he goes for the Lord. Make sure that he has everything he needs so that he doesn't force an unfavorable fight. Picks up the blue buff, but could this be the opening that Axis Esports was looking for to finally walk into the Lord pit?
Not really. I feel like if I was Resurgence at this point, I would try to let Ling solo this, maybe with one other person, while the rest of the team is kind of holding them at bay.
Yep, and oh, look at that. How quick that this Lord is falling down. Looks like it's going to go down uncontested. RSG going to pick up another one. KZP is in the thick of things. Ling going to the back line. He's just fighting for that angle, looking for Claude, but looks like he's not showing for now. EVOS is in the middle of everyone. Wait a second, KZP really, really low. They need to be careful. Where's the wild charge? They need to stun things up. LY4 will be able to walk away. Injector will keep his team into safety. Curse of Blood will bond 3 members, and everyone outside of Axis Esports will back up for now.
Yep, it doesn't look like Axis can do much about this. They just kind of have to wait until the Lord starts crashing into their lanes. They can deal with the Lord and power minions, but for sure, one of these inhibitor turrets are going down.
Wait, Rin went for Brute Force Breastplate as his final item.
I guess he needed the extra movement speed as well as the armor to survive the crits from Ling, but whether that's enough or not, I don't know.
I thought he went for the Wings of Apocalypse Queens instead, because, you know, you have that passive to lifesteal back whatever happens. But Keep Neepo needs to be careful. Lord is going to be marching down on his top side. Keep Neepo doing what he can on this scroll to buy as much time for his carries as possible.
And yep, this inhibitor turret is most likely going to be going down here as the rest of the team try and protect it. They're trying to hold Sync off, but Lord is just too big right now.
They're pushing. Once again, no rash decision. KZP, they find it, the stun onto it, the ejector as well. They want to kill off the crew from bouncing ball instead. Only Baptism will keep him in place. The first casualty fight has finally popped off. Ling is all his loads up on his bottom side. Jason Cole out of stealth. He needs to pop the hunt to regain the stealth. Bren trying to do as much damage as possible. The bloodbath will stop all of that. They get 3 inhibitors. They walk out. RSG, clean, methodical.
Very clean, very methodical here, and you can tell by RSG's plays, they don't want to make inefficient or small slip-ups or mistakes. They've gotten all the inhibitor turrets now. The question is whether or not they can push into the base, and we know that Resurgence, based on their style of play, is very textbook, right? So, don't expect them to try and force it. They're waiting for Axis to make the mistake and fall into the clutches of Resurgence, who will plan out this fight. But not if they get caught out like this!
Well, that's the mistake that Axis Esports was looking for. However, unfortunately, Axis Esports, they don't have any objectives on the map to take. They still need to keep on defending. Hey, Jason, oh no. They still walk with us.
Tough game so far from both sides, but Axis Esports, they could easily turn this around with one good team fight. Resurgence.
Twilight Armor.
They're hitting. Ooh, Twilight Armor. Alright.
Twilight Armor's a really good pickoff. So he, at least for that 4 seconds, he knows he's not gonna die. But keep Meepo, he needs to be careful. Power of Nature does get popped. Good, they try to go for the push. Nope, manages to stay alive. He doesn't get his immortality popped, and they can keep their red buff up as well.
Wow, surviving at 1 HP like that. Ooh, really pulling it close to the edge. But now Kaiser X is taking quite a bit of damage as the backline is now in trouble as they pull on forward. Evil X tries to disengage the composition, but can RSG get more?
KZP, he finds it, he finds Rin, but no real engage so far. Now white for Link, Wind of Nature does get popped as well. Link forced to use the Tempest of Blades just to back off. Don't want to overcommit at this stage. RSG knows that even though they have the lead, if they screw up one team fight, they can allow Axis Esports to come back just as easy as well.
It's anyone's game. Even though the score is like 12 to 11 and the goal differential is definitely in RSG's favor, it's really tough to say because now the tanks are starting to scale up into this game, and that's going to put a huge dent into the economy of Axis Esports as the fight has begun. Sync trying to hold his way. Look, goes down, but the immortality will keep it back up as the rest of the team jumps through. Steel Tempest, but they're trying to end the crystal as soon as possible with brute force. They come walking through.
Well, that is game 2 going over. That means it's a 2-0 for Resurgence, keeping up their undefeated record.